Rahubat Moisa. Welcome to Ask Us Anything, where you can send us 3 of your questions. You can film yourself asking your 3 questions and then uploading them to osmvision.wetransfer.com. So let's get into the questions for today.
OSM Vision, 3 questions. I was watching one of your videos and you asked for people to describe their experience at Tama-re. And I went to Tama-re during the Zed Festival. I went down there with a group or as part of a group consisting of Umi, her son Jonathan, and also a number of other people who were students and staff at the HTM Bookstore out of Hartford, which is the capital of Connecticut. We had a bunch of vehicles, and there were probably between 12 to 15 of us who went down to Tama-re from the Hartford Bookstore. So we went down there and camped for a few days and then left. There were thousands of people there. It was by far the most beautiful, peaceful, friendliest place I've ever been. What the local authorities said is total BS. This was in no way a compound. It was totally open and free. There were showers for everyone, bathrooms, food and drinks, museums, gift shops, souvenir shops, bookstores, clothing shops. It was very much an Egyptian theme park, open to the public. They had a Jubilee Festival there as well during the time that I stayed there. That was pretty fun. There was a lot of food, and it was an exciting time. I also remember, before I forget, they did a rain dance, and it was not in the forecast to rain, and they did a rain dance, and sure enough, it started raining, so I remember that also. And then when they finished the rain dance, it stopped raining. It was a very special time for me personally, on a spiritual level, on an inner level, because I made my Maharaj journey around the pyramid as well when I was there, and I applied to be an OM, or the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek, I believe it was called. So some of this stuff also falls under the First Amendment, which is the freedom of religion and assembly. So if we gather to practice Wu-Sabat, or to have an OM ceremony, that is protected in the United States by the First Amendment. So the attack on the land and what they were doing was racist, hateful, immoral, and unconstitutional. And it's just mind-boggling and sickening, the way it was destroyed and stuff. And I did get to see the Order of Melchizedek when I was there. They had the bleachers and stuff set up, and very nice. Everything was so nice and beautiful. But I was able to watch OM do a ceremony there as well around the Big Pyramid, and Pops was there. Pops was there, and I did see him. He was, it's almost like Michael Jordan going in public. Everybody wants to meet him. Everybody's a student of his. There was thousands of people there. I know I got to get close to him. I forget if I got to shake his hand or not, but it was an amazing experience. So I wanted to get to my 3 questions real quick, and I know you like us to be concise. And so my first question is, could you talk a little bit about OM, or the Ancient Mystic Order of Melchizedek? Maybe explain it a little, and is it still around? Okay.
Okay, so that's his first question. And yeah, firstly, just want to appreciate, love you, brother, for sharing your experience on Tama-re and explaining, as we've been doing many, many times and over the years, that, you know, it was open to everyone and it wasn't a compound and, you know, all the hearsay that you get online. And it was a beautiful experience for many people. So if anyone else out there wants to share their experience of being on Tama-re, it would be great, because then, you know, you're not just falling into the narrative that the mainstream media or those who may not want to promote Tama-re in a positive light are doing, you know, by speaking to real people that actually went there and experienced it for themselves. Yes, you mentioned a few terms that people may not be familiar with from the ones I can recall, such as the Zed or Zed festival. Yeah, was a festival that was performed by the master teacher. And in fact, it goes back to ancient times. And it was reenacted by Partner Babylon and Dr. Malachi Z. York after not being done for some 10,000 or so years. And if you want to know more about what it is it was just, you know, a ceremony that the ruling pharaohs at the time, yeah, or as we said, our 30, they would do this to show that they were still capable and in, you know, in good health, in good position to continue to be, you know, the pharaoh to rule. And so that was something that was reenacted, and it was beautiful. You also mentioned HTM. HTM referred to the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, because at that time we were also being taken, you know, through the various schools of religion, and as we know, being walked backwards into our culture of Wu-Sabat. So the Holy Tabernacle Ministries is one of those terms that, you know, those who are familiar with us will know. And it's because over the years, as we were walking and the master teacher was taking us through these schools, some people may have come across us at a time when we were, you know, being known by a specific title, because names are titles, right? So one of the other titles you mentioned was, I know you said OM, but it's actually AMOM. AMOM is the ancient and mystic order of Melchizedek. And so, again, that was more like a spiritual order where you were able to be taught. The fly just flew my nose. I'm going to cut that bit out. The fly literally flew my nose. Cool. Yeah, so the AMOM, or the Ancient Mystic Order of Melchizedek, was a spiritual order. And the word order is very important because, you know, when you're being taught the esoteric knowledge or information, it's about order. It's not about the chaos of light or the chaos of religion, because it's not about, I believe this, I believe that. It's more about the real knowledge and spiritual teachings that will help you develop as a spiritual being. And AMOM you could say, metamorphosized into what many know as the ancient Egyptian order. Again, the word order. And order, going back to ancient Egypt, is where all the mystery schools actually come from. So when people want to seek the highest form of knowledge dealing with, like he said as well, like the brother said, the personal you, the internal you, the inner being, these are the types of orders you would have to go into, such as the Essene order, which, you know, they tell you John the Baptist and Jesus were a part of. and everyone was after the order of Melchizedek. So when you're saying the ancient and mystical order of Melchizedek, Melchizedek or Malachi Zadok is that high priest, the highest, and his name, becomes known by many cultures over the years, such as Michael in the religious Christian world, Mikhail, in Arabic or in the Islamic world, and dealing with that green being known as Al-Khidir, okay, who is the green one, who is the one with this knowledge and information that everyone comes to learn from. In ancient Egypt, it is also referred to as Tahuti, which becomes Thoth in Greek mythology. And but yeah, so the ancient and mystic order of Melchizedek was that order where you also had children of the green light, which was basically the esoteric or spiritual order where you would learn those higher mysteries as opposed to the lesser mysteries, which became desecrated into what people are calling religion today. All right. In terms of what's happened to it, it is, as I said, something that evolved into the ancient Egyptian order, or AEO. So you should have really carried on those practices, but then through AEO, you will be taken on a higher level of that information. So if you want to, learn more about that, we say all the time, encourage people to be a part of the community, because those orders keep evolving, and there are orders today that you should be involving yourself with, such as the order of the brothers, the order of the sisters, or the brotherhood or the sisterhood, right? So there are orders that are actually only really spoken about, or you only know more about them as someone who is participating as a part of those orders. Okay, so I hope that answered that first question for you, and we can move on to the second question.
And then my second question is, Tabernacle Ministries bookstores have all closed, to the best of my knowledge. And there's eight All Eyes on Egypt bookstores now. Is All Eyes on Egypt going to remain the new name of the bookstore? And what's the best place to order a copy of the Holy Tablets from? I think the purple soft cover is in color, but am I correct that the hardcover is not in color? It's in black and white.
Okay, yes. So the second question is relating to the Holy Tablets. Again, for those who are not familiar with what the Holy Tablets is it's a book, a scroll that the master teacher received, and it was published around 1996. And the one you're describing, brother, is the same one that was first published, which had various colors. It had black, it had purple, yellow, if I can recall correctly, but there were different colors. And that one was actually sabotaged by the people that printed it, because we were having Savior's Day, which is the celebration we have every year on June the 26th, and it was being released then, and the printers kind of sabotaged it because the printers were Christian by origin, and when we say it was sabotage, it's like some of the pages were in the wrong places, some of the paragraphs were moved around. The actual content was still right and exact and correct. However, they moved things around and, in the printing process. So what happened is that the master actually was and they're very thick books. I mean, they're like thousands of pages. And the information in the holy tablets was basically the completion of all that religion was trying to convey, but wasn't able to at the level that the holy tablets did. So the holy tablets basically explained everything you needed to know about religion, its origins, going back even to the birth of our universe, and going through the various stages of evolution, covering even like the Anunnaki stories, all the way through the Christian and the Torah, the Bible, the Islamic stories, everything in one book. And that completed religion and expressed even more to a higher level of what each of these books, like the Torah, the Quran, Old New Testament, were all trying to convey. However, it expired in the year 2000. So after that sabotage of the printing, the master reprinted it with a new edition, and all the mistakes and everything was corrected. And then that was the one with the black and gold writing. And then there was another revised version after that. So the Holy Tablets is now very difficult and hard to get hold of, because the master has spoken about perhaps updating it, because people keep asking. For some people, that they got that one book which was so profound, and they felt that was the end of the journey, and they were like, okay, I got my book, it tells me everything, and they stopped their journey there. But one thing that you can never do with a teacher that is still teaching you, that has so much information, 76 trillion years of information, is that you can never remain stagnant or get to a point where you feel this is it, because he says, walk with me, so you're always walking with the master. And sometimes you need to have patience and order is required. And sometimes people get impatient and they want to run ahead, or they think this is the final chapter and they've got it, and they run ahead, or they don't stay with the master. So titles, again, Holy Tabernacle Ministries or All Eyes of Egypt, these are just names of the bookstores, but at the end of the day, the names can change any day, any time. But yeah, most of those Holy Tabernacle Ministries evolved into All Eyes on Egypt to kind of align with the ancient Egyptian order. But there are stores that don't use those names for specific reasons, based on their jurisdiction or whatever. So we have to just wait and hear a word back from the master at any time. If he decides or changes titles or names, then we go along with that. And this is one of the reasons why the statement, I follow the Lamb wherever he goes, is so pertinent and important, because if you're being guided, then you have to listen and move with the guide. Okay, so if you want to get in contact now, just look on the website, unitedsabiansworldwide.com, and go to your nearest bookstore, your nearest community, and get involved and help out and get to learn what's happening now in real time today. All right. So let's move on to the third and final question, I believe.
And then my third final question is, do you know how we might be able to reconnect to old friends now that they closed a lot of the bookstores, like the one in Hartford that I liked going to? Is there any way we can connect with old friends and stuff from, you know, before this, a lot of this stuff got shut down and stuff, or closed down? Thank you.
Okay, so the third and final question is how to reconnect with people and people you've maybe come across in your journey. The reality is that with the journey, people drop off. Some, as I said, don't continue to walk with the guide, with the master teacher. And so the best way for you to reconnect right now is to go to your nearest bookstore. They have activities, events that we have, so that you can maybe bump into people that you haven't seen for a long time, or there may be other people that you can connect with that know those people. But at the end of the day, we've been dispersed, as you say, based on, the allegations and the sheer kind of just like racism and everything that we've endured, and we're rebuilding. And so there will come a time where we will be able to reconvene. But in the meantime, go to the ones that are available, attend events, connect with people, and people may have the contacts of some of the people that you may be trying to reach out to. And yeah, we obviously use our website as well, so you can actually send an email to any of the bookstores requesting information, and then we can, reply back to you. Join our groups. Obviously, the Telegram group is very important. We have other groups on WhatsApp and various other social media, Facebook. You might want to search for some of these people on Facebook, because many of us still maintain an online profile. All right. So thank you for your questions. And once again, anyone else who would like to send 3 questions to OSM Vision, you can do so by filming yourself, asking your 3 questions, and then uploading them to osmvision.wetransfer.com. But remember, help us, share your experience, make comments, and also like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that we can keep you updated with the latest on Wu-Sabat. All right, my name is Ken. Until next time, Wadu.